What's going on, everyone? It's Dan here from the Powerlifting Basement, and today I'm going to talk to you about barbell collars. So in the last video I talked about my gym setup, everything that I own in the gym, and a couple people reached out and they wanted me to talk about the barbell collars that I have. And so I'll be going through these today, the decisions I made as to why I picked those ones in particular, and what I had previous to these. And so without further ado, let's go. Okay, so why do you need barbell collars? Well, very simply, it's for safety. And especially if you're training at home by yourself, you want to make sure that if there's anything that happens, the weight is not going to slip off of the bar. So these barbell collars are set up in such a way that they squeeze the bar so that they make sure that all the weight plates stay together, well, at the very least, as best as possible. Okay, so these are the Oso CM-1 barbell collars, and these are the slightly updated models that are on the Rogue website. They feature a interior plug here of rubber, which is something that I really liked and attracted me to purchasing these in particular. I'll get more into it later in the video, but it also has a new design for the mechanism itself. So open and I guess all the way open there to be able to put it on the bar. Now they come in 10 different colors, but they also have quite a few different colors of the interior plugs, so you can really make them your own. I chose gold just because I thought maybe it would match the gym, sort of. Okay, so you're setting up your home gym, and let's face it, collars are not exactly your top priority on your priority list. Whether you're doing powerlifting or CrossFit training or weightlifting, what you're looking for that should really top your list are things like a power rack, a bench, and a bar. Those things you really take a lot of time, maybe reading some reviews, checking the knurling on the bars, how much whip the bar has, how sturdy the rack is there any attachments that you can add to it. But when it comes to barbell collars, not much consideration is given to them. Now, when I set up my home gym, I used the Bells of Steel garage gym builder, and I picked all my options, so rack, bar, bench, flooring, plates, everything. But one of the last decisions, and the one that I probably paid no attention to, were the collars. These are the collars that I got. I got these about 3 years ago, and they're just your standard plastic, sort of lockjaw looking collars. And for the most part, they were serviceable. They worked just fine. They were able to clamp the weight together to make sure that they didn't move around. However, the reason why I bought the new collars is because one of them actually broke. So I don't know if you can see it here, but there are screws that go through each knuckle to add a little bit of rubber here. Actually, I had one, I dropped it, and one of the screws set loose, which made it so that this one was practically useless and not safe. Now, one thing that you have to remember too is the reason why I'm training at home and the time in which I'm training at home is late at night. And so I have other people in the house that I don't want to wake up. When you have loose collars and you do something like a deadlift with steel plates like I have, they tend to rattle. And so having a broken collar makes it so that it just makes a ton of noise. And so I needed something that was not only going to hold everything together, but have a very, very secure fit to prevent as much noise as possible. Okay, so let's talk about the options that are available to you. The first, least expensive option are the spring collars. Spring collars, you'll find those at commercial gyms. They're very, very inexpensive, but I mean, I don't think they're going to last very long. If anything, they're going to get looser and looser over time. But I guess they are inexpensive, so you could replace them. But considering this is a home gym that I'd like to keep for a while, that just was not an option. The next option was to purchase something like this again, plastic type collars where they are relatively inexpensive. You can find them on Amazon, or you can go to other websites to find them. The advantage there, I guess, was that it still is an inexpensive option, but I figured if this is going to happen again, and I'm just going to be purchasing another set of these, why not buy once, cry once? So why not go out and spend a little bit more, but get something of good quality? Now the next option available to you is a collar that has some sort of metal. So there are styles that exist like this that are metal. They usually are some sort of aluminum, and those were the area that I wanted to buy in sort of the butter zone. A little bit more expensive, something that I knew would last a little bit longer. Now, if you have a look at the Rogue website, there are many options when it comes to metal collars. However, one of the things that I noticed very quickly was the thickness of the aluminum and also the thickness of the rubber. We can imagine a situation where you put on a collar made only out of aluminum, and although it might have a great clamping force or clamping power, it could very well be that it would slip. So every time you pull a deadlift, it might bump backwards a little bit after every repetition. And so what I did was I looked at the collars that had the most amount of rubber so that it would offer the best ability to not have the weights back up on the bar. If you have a look at, let's say, the Rogue USA aluminum collars that are on the website, well, the pictures might not do it justice, but it seems like it's a very thin amount of rubber within the collar. Now, since these wore out, I didn't want to have that happen to the metal collars that I was looking at. And so one of the things that I liked about these Oso collars is that you're able to take away one of these interior plugs here, actually all four of them, and replace them. Replacing the interior collar rubber to me was a great opportunity to make these last as long as possible. Now let's face it, these collars are not exactly inexpensive. These are $74 Canadian, and they come with black plugs regardless of the color that you pick. But Rogue does have an option for 3 items ship free. 3 items ship free is usually something that's available on the US site only, which although I'm in Canada right now, I did take advantage of that option because I do live relatively close to the border and was able to ship these just across the border in the United States and go pick them up. So what I did was I picked up some of these. Actually, I picked up 2 of them. So what happened was these are only $7. I think it was $7. Yeah, these are $7 per package of 4. You know, in hindsight, I think it was a great idea because if any of these start to wear down, I can always put some new ones in there. Now, of course, the next option that's even more expensive is competition collars, but one of the things that I had noticed in training at a commercial powerlifting gym was that those competition collars actually tend to slip when you do repetitions. So they may have the ability to really clamp down really, really well for 1 repetition. They can sort of shake and create a situation where they back off slightly. Plus, checking the Rogue website right now, they're well over $200, probably closer to $300 shipped, which is something I didn't want to spend. Plus, when you go to a competition, you always hear them say tighten the collars when you have two competitors do the exact same weight. Now, as far as the quality is concerned, these are absolutely fantastic. They're made out of a really solid, well-machined aluminum. They have this lever action that's really clamps down hard on the bar. So hard, in fact, that if you try to open them up while it's on the bar, you have to be careful where this goes, because I've done it a couple of times when you have your knuckles there and it just wraps them pretty hard. One of the downsides, though, of owning these is that they do scratch and they do chip pretty easily, and I like to take care of my stuff within the gym, so I've been extra careful with these, and just looking at them now, I can notice that there's some pitting and some scratches that have taken place, which is unfortunate, but it is, I guess, a product of this type of aluminum. You're probably wondering how I noticed that it was actually broken. One day I was doing rather heavy deadlift repetitions, and I just felt as though the weight plates were a little bit louder than usual. It turns out that that was in fact the problem. As I would deadlift, the plates would separate slightly and would create kind of like a cymbal effect. I'm sure you're all familiar with what that would sound like. Okay, so in summary, I would definitely recommend the Oso CM-1 collars to anybody out there who's setting up a brand new home gym, especially if you're into powerlifting or doing things like deadlifts, rack pulls, anything where you drop the bar. These would be great. Not only do they have great clamping power and also the ability to prevent the weight plates from backing up after doing multiple repetitions, they will hopefully last, I think they will last a very, very long time due to these rubber inserts. Now, it is unfortunate that they scratch a little bit easily, and they are a little bit on the higher end of the price spectrum, but I would still recommend these for people who are setting up their home gym. All right, so that's the first installment in a deep dive review in something that I own here within my home gym. What I recommend you do is you go to my YouTube page and check out Quick Basement Gym Tour. That's the video that I did that kind of introduces my home gym, everything that I own within it. If there's something that catches your eye that you'd like me to review a little bit more in depth, feel free to leave a comment in this video, or you can always reach me on my Instagram page at Powerlifting Basement. Leave me a message there as well. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, and as always, let's go.